You ready? Okay. Hug. Hello, you guys. Welcome to Dog Hugs. It is so great to be back with you today. Thank you so much for tuning in yesterday, and thank you to Geraldine Chada, aka G-Dog, and Robbie, of course, for hosting the show yesterday rather. That was a fantastic interview with Steve Dale. And yes, our understanding about separation anxiety is really important. In a little bit, we're going to show you today's guest. Spiders is obviously really excited. And it's going to be Christina Lee today. And if you don't know Christina, she is the bomb. She is going to be here from Deaf Dogs Rock. That's right. Her mission is about bringing on deaf dogs. But we'll introduce Christina to you in just a moment here. First, I want to tell you about what I was doing yesterday. I was attending the annual meeting, which for the first time was online, with this foundation called Muses, which is part of the California Science Center. Now, some of you know that Spider and I performed for 6 months at the California Science Center, which is Los Angeles's big science museum and which hosts the statewide high school science fair every year. I mean, and they're shut down. So my girlfriend Jen she's president of the foundation called Muses, and she was conducting the annual meeting online. Spider is right on top of the desk. Come back around here. Give us a hug, buddy. Come on up. So I want to share with you guys a video of Spider performing at the California Science Fair. All right, so that was a sense of what we got to do. Now I'm going to share with you another really cool film. This is going to help introduce our guest, Christina Lee, today. As I mentioned, Christina Lee is the founder of Deaf Dogs Rock. She's one of the most amazing advocates and educators for deaf dogs on the planet. She's a rescue warrior woman and blogger. I mean, she's just amazing. I can't wait for you guys to meet Christina. But first, I want to share with you a film that we collaborated on. Christina, I didn't give you much of an intro there, but here you are coming in. Folks, welcome Christina Lee to Dog Hugs.
Thank you so much for having Bowie and I. We're so excited.
And this is Bowie, the little puppy who, when we made that film a few years back, was an annoying little puppy.
Yeah, he's 5 years old now, so he's still annoying.
He's still annoying.
He still annoys everybody.
Yeah. Now Bowie's completely deaf, can't hear.
Completely.
And has been that way.
Can't hear anything.
Can't hear, and has been that way since birth?
Since birth, yeah.
Yeah. So Christina, why deaf dogs? Why do you do this?
Well, it all started in 2010. I adopted Nitro, a deaf puppy from the local shelter in 2010.
And Nitro was the bigger dog that we saw in the film. Now.
He was a deaf boxer, and he was actually dumped at a river in November by, I don't know if it was a breeder or someone that had purchased a puppy. And then the animal control officers found him, and the shelter reached out to me directly and asked me if I would adopt him.
Why did they reach out to you?
Because I had a friend, she was a director, Rebecca, and she's not now on our board of directors, Rebecca Custer. And she reached out to me because she thought we would be a good home. We live on a farm, and we had 3 dogs at the time, and we had lots of fencing, and we just adored our dogs. So that was what we decided to do. We adopted Nitro, but what we soon found out was there was not a lot of resources for people. When you first adopt a deaf dog, you're, like me, within the 24 hours, I was like, oh, I don't know. I think it might be too much for me.
So when you were contacted, you already knew that Nitro was deaf.
Yeah.
And you and your husband said, let's give this a whirl, huh?
Well, I said, I'll leave it up to my husband, thinking he would say no. Right. And then he met the puppy, and he was like, I think we should do it. I'm like, oh, he's so brave. He's a brave guy.
Bravo.
Yeah. So it was about 8 to 10 months after that we decided. We were getting so many emails from people asking for help after one of our stories about Nitro went national. And then that's when we decided, you know what, we should launch a website. We can help deaf dogs. We can help other people. And that's how Deaf Dogs Rock all started.
That is fantastic. What I'm going to do while we're talking here, I want to put up some of the amazing photos of these deaf dogs. And they do just make such wonderful pets. Here you are with Nitro. Yeah, he was one good doggy.
Now, I sent you that good picture of you and Nitro, too. Did you see that?
You shot of me and Nitro?
Oh, yeah, that's in your email. There's a really good.
Oh, my gosh.
Nitro.
Yeah.
I miss my boy.
Here's you and Chris.
There we are.
There you guys are. Great shot.
There we are.
Yeah. And now you with little Bowie. Mm-hmm. So how did you name your organization Deaf Dogs Rock? What a great name.
We just feel that deaf dogs have superpowers.
Yeah.
And they really do. That they automatically think, oh, why would you want to adopt a deaf dog? There are so many advantages to adopting a deaf dog. They're not like with Nitro. He was never dog reactive, and he was totally laid back, and he was super easy to train. He went through all the levels training and passed his CGC, his Canine Good Citizen test by the time he was 10 months old.
So he was able, as a deaf dog, to become the AKC's big Canine Good Citizen.
Yep.
Wow.
And all of our trainers were like, he's such a good puppy, because some of my trainers were from England, and he was so focused on me. We could be in a obedience class, and all the dogs could be freaking out and barking. Nitro is just looking right at me. What do you want me to do next? And so they just, they're not scared of thunder or lightning or fireworks.
Wow.
So we just feel they have superpowers.
Yeah.
They're more tuned into us.
Well, here's a shot that I love. You in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, is this photoshopped or are they all really?
Oh, no, they're all sign trained. And so those are my 6 dogs. 4 of them are deaf. The 2 boxers, the Boston and the healer.
Yeah.
And all I do is give them the sit sign and then the wait sign.
Yeah.
And they have to sit and wait at every meal, so they're really used to it.
Bravo.
So, you know, that was a good shot, though. That was a really good shot. I got lucky that day. I got lucky.
That is not easy, my friend. Very good. And here's some other deaf dogs.
Yeah, Mia came from Texas, I believe.
Yeah, well, I'm seeing this HHRT. Now, why don't you tell folks what that is?
HHRT is a group of 4,000 plus volunteer rescue drivers. And so it stands for Highway Heroes Rescue Transport Team.
Fantastic.
And that's how we get all the deaf puppies. There's so many deaf puppies in the South, Texas, Alabama, Georgia. And with these volunteer drivers, we can do, you know, a 20-leg rescue transport over 2 days and get them all the way to Virginia. And usually it's no paws on the ground. So they're not even allowed on the ground. And they're all trained to, you know, transport these dogs, keep their paws off the ground, keep them safe until they get here. Little Brownie. I got to do Brownie. So yeah.
So this is an effort to actually go out, collect these deaf dogs, and round them up and then find homes for them.
Right. So we have partner rescues all over the United States.
Right.
Now, these dogs all went into our main partner rescue here in Virginia, Green Dogs Unleashed. Yes. And they're right outside of Charlottesville. Yes. And they specialize in deaf and blind dogs, making them therapy dogs. So a lot of the dogs that you see in these pictures have become therapy dogs for reading programs. And
what makes them suitable as therapy dogs?
Well, they're not suitable right from the beginning.
Right.
You know, they go through the basic training and then they're evaluated.
Yeah.
Some of them aren't suitable, obviously. They might be high energy, but some of them are. And so Erica, I think you know Erica Proctor with Green Dogs Unleashed.
Possibly we've met.
Yeah, I think you've met her. She's an adorable little redhead, and she's the director, and she's a trainer, and she does amazing work here in Virginia with all the deaf puppies we bring her. They reach out to me first, and then what we do is we reach out to Erica and see if she has room, and then from there, Erica gets with the Highway Heroes Transport Team. A run sheet goes out. People sign up. It usually takes a couple weeks to organize these. People sign up, and then we get those dogs from Texas and down south into Virginia.
Wow.
Yeah.
So by a run sheet, explain to the folks what that means.
Well, a run sheet will go out to all the volunteers, and it'll give a day, like a Saturday, Sunday date, and each leg of the transport runs about an hour to hour and 20 minutes.
So they're responsible for driving for only an hour and 20 minutes from some stretch between wherever the trip starts.
Yeah. So leg one, yeah. And so it's like an hour each way for them. So basically they're volunteering to do a 2 to 3 hours of their Saturday or Sunday. And we get those 20 legs filled up. And HHRT has a rescue coordinator. And so when that transport starts, you have one person that is with you every step of the way. Nice. And all the drivers are talking to each other. And then they've got their meeting places together. And then that coordinator is making sure that if it's running a little bit late, she's going to let everyone know this transport's running a half an hour late, be aware, or there's traffic here, or there's a shutdown here. And so that person's given her whole weekend, that coordinator's given her a whole weekend to babysit that transport and get that dog to where it needs to be. And it's all volunteer, and they do amazing work. And I don't know what we would do without them. They're just amazing.
It really is amazing. So what are some of the challenges new deaf dog families face when they adopt a deaf dog?
Well, I think some of the main challenges, I think the priority with all deaf dog and especially puppy training is crate training. It's so important to crate train, and it's so important to get them to love their crate. And deaf dogs are much more vulnerable to separation anxiety.
Oh, say more about that.
Yeah, so we see a lot of separation anxiety, and because they're so focused on us, they can't hear us. And if they can't see us and they can't smell us, it's like we're gone. So they're with us every second. They're watching everything we do. So it's just something that I think most deaf dog owners have to deal with at one time or another, is a separation anxiety. So we try to educate people on how important it is to, we feed our deaf dogs in their crates. They get special toys in their crates. They get treats in their crates. If they just go and sit in their crate, they get a treat. And so they love their crates. That's their den. And so we just want to educate people, because so many people sleep with their deaf puppies, and the minute they sleep with their deaf puppies, those dogs end up with separation anxiety, and the screaming and the tearing the crate apart, and once you go down that road, it's very difficult to come back. And I noticed Steve Dale did a show on it.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. And we'll post a link to Steve Dale's work on separation anxiety.
Yeah.
And as Christina just mentioned, our show yesterday with Steve was on separation anxiety.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot worse now with everybody home. I'm sure it's going to be a lot worse.
I would imagine. The temptations I know with Spider are really great, and some of my training has fallen apart because I've not remain vigilant. So I can imagine the challenge would be even more. See, here's Spider encroaching right on my desk right now. And usually I'm going back. But
we're trying to, even here, we're trying to do a lot of work outside on the farm. Yeah. Because then, the dogs have to be alone for a while while we're out working in the garden, or we're out with the horses or the chickens. And so we're trying to leave them a little bit, and then we go into town once in a while too and leave them.
So you have a whole farm there?
Yes.
What else? You've got more than dogs.
Well, we have chickens. And we used to have 3 horses, but we're down to 1 because they've died one by one of old age. But we've got one that's just spoiled, and we have 5 acres here. We do have a 1 acre dog park in the front.
Wow.
And that's for all the deaf dog families here in Roanoke. If they want to bring their deaf dogs out here to play, all they have to do is text me. They can come out and let them run and have play dates. And
how generous. Wow. Yeah. If folks are interested in becoming a volunteer for Deaf Dogs Rock or for the Highway Heroes Rescue Transport Team, what do they do?
For Deaf Dogs Rock, we don't really have any volunteers, because we always we find out where each person lives, and then we steer them to our partner rescues, because those are the people. They need fosters, and they need people to work adoption events. And Highway Heroes Rescue Transport, if you're on the East Coast, you can go to their Facebook page and sign up.
So what we'll do when this show plays back, and we appreciate you guys so much watching the show on replay, more than half of our viewers do watch on replay, is we're going to post those links, and Christina's going to go through some of the names of the rescues right now, and we'll post the links to those rescues, and encourage you to, if you're interested, to get involved directly with those rescue organizations. Or if you have more questions, perhaps Christina can help shepherd you, so to speak, along. Yeah. So talk to the folks about some of the rescues that you work with around the country.
Well, we've got actually 10 rescues that are specifically they do deaf dogs. Some of them do deaf-blind dogs. I mentioned Green Dogs Unleashed earlier, who is in Virginia. Probably 50% of our sponsored dogs go to Green Dogs Unleashed. And then we have our Midwest partners are Speak for the Unspoken in Grove City, Ohio. And they have a sister organization called Speak St. Louis. So our Midwestern sponsorships go in that area. And those girls, when I have an emergency situation, which is often in the Midwest, they always help me, and they'll get a driver the next day to go get a puppy for us.
So and then what's an emergency situation? What's an example?
Emergency situation would be someone purchased a deaf puppy and it's just been too much of them. They just want to get rid of it for free on Craigslist. That's always urgent right away. It could be a breeder that wants to cull the puppy. If we find out a breeder wants to cull a puppy, then we try to step in right away and get the puppy from them.
And cull is a euphemism for euthanizing.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. And then some of the other organizations we work with, we have a new rescue partner, Happy Tails Animal Rescue in Oklahoma, which she has helped out so much, Moira, because our Virginia rescue's been closed to intakes. So she's been helping us with Texas intakes. And right now it's puppy season. So there's deaf puppies coming out of the woodwork, you know. Really? Some of the other ones up in New York, in Brooklyn, Red Hook Rescue. Harriet Zucker, she does a great job. She does a lot of the deaf pit bulls.
Oh, now there's a brewery called Red Hook. Is there any relationship?
I don't think so. Okay. I think there's a Red Hook district there in Brooklyn.
Oh, of course. Silly me. Yeah.
Yeah. And she's been doing that for years. Now she's in television production too in New York City. So I'm not sure exactly what she does, but she's been rescuing deaf pit bulls for years. She does a great job. Some of the other rescues we work with, Perfect Imperfections. Trisha is up in Connecticut. And
I love that name.
Perfect Imperfections.
Yeah, perfect. You know, one of my mantras is around imperfection.
Absolutely.
And, I call it the jazz-like beauty of imperfection. Yeah, so Perfect Imperfection. What a
great name. And Trisha actually has a children's book out about Kiefer, her deaf dog. So she's got that. And then she also works, and we work with Poets Vision Aussie Rescue, and they are our only Canadian partner rescue. They're in Perth, Ontario. And Tanya McAllister is the director, and she rescues deaf Aussie puppies. So she's taken quite a few over the years from the South all the way up to Canada, because that's her specialty. And then I think we do the Amazing Aussies of Arizona. They do deaf. There's so many Aussie puppies. There's so many deaf-blind Aussie puppies. And then the Deaf Dog Rescue.
Is that a predisposition within the breed?
Well, that's a breeding problem. That's a breeding a Merle to Merle. When you're breeding two Merle genes, 25% of all the puppies born to a Merle to Merle mom and dad have the chance to be deaf and blind. So up to 25% of them can be deaf and blind. And
Christina, is that a more recent, meaning an overbreeding problem, or is that something that's long been a problem, or would you know?
I think it's been a problem as long as I've been doing this for 9 years. It's a breeding problem because they're trying to get the color. They're trying to get that Merle, blue Merle color.
It is beautiful. Yeah. And that is obviously going way overboard. 25%. Wow.
Yeah. It's 25%. Yeah. And so you can learn a lot more about that. Keller's Cause is a rescue out of Maryland and Michigan. And Amanda and Rose, they do they rescue double Merle puppies and double Merle Aussies. So they do a really good job. And their main thing is educating people on double Merle breeding.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they do a good job.
So did you get to go through all your 10 here?
And I have the Deaf Dog Rescue of America.
Oh.
And that's Lisa and Mark Tipton. They're right outside of Los Angeles and Santa Clarita.
Oh, very good. Where I am.
They have a huge rescue. Mark Tipton is a certified trainer. He specializes in deaf dogs. And his wife, Lisa, and Mark, they have been saving deaf dogs on the West Coast for a long time, very long time. So we just messaged her today. We're sponsoring 3 of her deaf dogs she's got coming in. And then we did another 4. We sponsored 4 this morning with Speak St. Louis in Missouri. So yeah, it's puppy season right now. It's crazy.
Yes. What does sponsored mean?
That means we raise money specifically to help our 10 partner rescues. We want to help them financially so they can continue to bring in deaf puppies and afford to do the bedding. So with each dog that comes in, we sponsor some of the bedding. We usually send them $200 per dog.
Wow.
Yeah, and that covers a lot of the vetting. Recently, in the last few weeks, we've gone down to 150 because donations haven't been what they usually are, but we're still sponsoring them, and they're happy to, get whatever they can to go towards vetting, and it helps them with the next dog they bring in, so it leaves money for them and
paying it forward in a way.
Yeah. So that's what we do. And you know what? If you go to our website, we also list available deaf dogs for adoption all over the country. There's at least 300 dogs available for adoption on that.
300 dogs available for adoption right now. That's great.
Yeah.
So what's different about living and training a deaf dog compared to a hearing dog? I think we've got a little bit into crate training. And I mean, something I'm thinking about is how instead of using verbal signals, I'm really focused on, hello, I'm here, line of sight, hand signals.
Watch me, watch me.
Watch me. That's a very important cue.
Watch me. Or when they're in trouble, I go, I'm watching you.
Oh, that's a good cue.
You better not be the training it's funny because the training, so many people write to me and say, do you know of a deaf dog trainer in this area? And I say, you do not need a deaf dog trainer. The training is exactly the same. We use clicker training. We use positive reinforcement training. The only difference is we're going to use a verbal cue, like for sit, or like when we mark that good behavior with a clicker, the sound of a clicker. With a deaf dog, we're going to do a thumbs up as the clicker, or I do a 3-finger flash. I just do this real quick.
Just real quick.
So I can hold the treat. And then I go,
up and down.
Click. Whoops. Yeah. I'm trying to find it.
Instead of a click or a yes, you're doing this or that.
Yeah.
I could see why you would do that. That would be really distinct.
It's really distinct and it's really fast. The second that dog makes the right decision, it's boom and then treat.
Yeah, folks, you may be familiar with this. What we want to do is in positive dog training is to tell the dog when he or she has done something right, something we've asked for. So typically for a hearing dog, we'll say yes, or we'll use this thing called a clicker and mark that exact moment. Well, obviously with a deaf dog, we have to use a visual signal instead. So Christina's suggesting, flashing the 3 fingers, it's really distinct. It can't be mistaken for any other thing.
Or you can do yes too. Yes.
Oh, is that like ASL, American Sign Language?
Yeah, and it's all American Sign Language. So it's
interesting. Yeah.
And we actually have a brand new trainer on our website.
Oh.
We have a huge deaf community that adopts deaf dogs.
Meaning deaf humans adopting deaf dogs? Oh, that's a great story.
Yeah, and so it's for 9 years I've waited for Savannah to come along. And so we have been, for the past month, I've been putting her videos up. I asked her, I'm like, cut as many videos as you can. She is a CODA. She's a child of a deaf sister and parents. So she's very fluent in sign language, and she's a certified dog trainer.
Is she deaf herself?
No, she's not.
So she's hearing, but she has a deaf parent and a deaf sibling.
Yeah, I think both of her parents might be deaf, but so all of our newest videos are in all ASL. She's signing, she's using her verbal, and I think you probably could put closed caption on, but she is signing, and she's got her dog that looks just like your dog. Her deaf dog, like your dog.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you want to just show
spider
her.
right over my shoulder here.
Yeah, she's amazing. And so her marker is this with her
Yeah,
healer.
yeah.
Yeah, that's her marker.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. Really, really smart stuff. So, and then once again, as we were sharing before, you and your dog Nitro uh, uh, went through what's called the CGC program, and that's the Canine Good Citizen. Explain, folks, what that means to achieve a CGC, a Canine Good Citizen.
Canine Good Citizen is so that you can actually take your dog out in public, and he's gone through all the training and the testing to, if a person comes up and shakes your hand, Nitro would sit next to me. We could go eat at restaurants and he would lay under the table. It takes several different classes, and then you have to go through a test, and like even a neutral dog has to walk up and he can't react to go through the test. And what it does is, I always tell people, if you have a deaf dog and you take them through this training and you get them through the Canine Good Citizenship, give your dog that 1 year of training. If you give your dog that 1 year, your deaf dog that 1 year of training, you're going to have a great dog for the next 10 to 15 years.
Wow.
And you're going to be able to take that dog anywhere you want.
What a great investment.
Yeah, it is a great
investment. I invest 1 and I get 15 back.
Yeah.
That's a good rate of return.
Yeah. You just get people to realize how important training is, and socialization.
Amen.
And I know it's a hard time right now with socialization if people have a new puppy.
Sure.
Right now it's hard because you can't really get out as much,
Have you learned anything? Any tips? Any things you're thinking about of how do we socialize when we can't socialize?
Well, what I would do, I know our local trainers like High Hopes. She's been doing a lot of online Zoom classes, but for a little while she was having small play groups, like just 2 or 3 dogs. The people are separate. She had a little play area, and then that way, by setting those up, it's helping the puppies. So if someone's got a new puppy, I mean, even getting around, taking them for a walk, letting them see other dogs in their walk, and treat while they're walking them so they're not reactive. Anything. Like with our dogs, we take our dogs everywhere. Like, when Bowie was a puppy, we took him everywhere. When Nitro was a puppy, we took him everywhere. Axel goes everywhere with us right now. I mean, we just get him around everything.
Now, Bowie, as I understand, got his name because of your theme about deaf dogs being a rocker.
Right. He's a rocker dog. So yeah, he's named after David Bowie.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a red heeler named after Cornell. A lot of people know Chris Cornell.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Axel for Axl Rose.
Yep. Axel Blue, because Axel's got a blue eye.
Oh.
So we call him Axel Blue, and that's after Axl Rose. Yeah.
That's really clever. Yeah.
He's like ready for a nap. Look at him. You tired, Mommy?
Yeah, it's hard being a star. Yeah. Christina, you've done such a great job of doing shelter shout outs, as we try to do on this show. And again, we've posted those links, and hope that gives you folks from around the country and even around the world an opportunity to visit some of Christina's partners with Deaf Dogs Rock. And also, Christina, on the show, this is about gratitude and blessing.
Yeah.
Is there somebody in your life or in the world that you want to give a blessing or extend some gratitude to today?
Well, I think the first person that comes to mind is my husband, Chris. And if it wasn't for him working so hard and supporting me, I wouldn't be able to do this full time for no pay. So this is my volunteer full-time job, and he is my IT guy. He makes sure things run smoothly. If something goes wrong online, he's always there. He's always here when I have to do rescue transport. He holds all the, he takes care of all the animals. And, sometimes I have to be gone for a couple days at a time, and he takes care of everything. So my shout out would be to Chris Lee.
Amen. Good
True
choice.
blessing.
Love that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Christina
Aw,
Lee and Deaf Dogs Rockin' Bowie, for being on the show today.
thanks for having us.
Yeah, my gratitude is to the folks who handled the show yesterday. Especially G Dog, whom you know,
I
Gerald.
know, I love her.
Yeah, she's the greatest.
I know.
And really, really grateful to Geraldine, G Dog, and to Robbie and to our guest Steve Dale yesterday. Really meant a lot to me that you were able to carry on and be victorious without me.
I tell
So,
you what, and they handled a really good that subject, separation anxiety. Everybody's dealing with that right now because everybody's home. They're going to be dealing with it soon.
amen, sister.
Yeah.
Well, it is really great to have you with us, Christina Lee, and all of you folks at home. We really love doing the show with you. Tomorrow is a wonderful show with Robbie. If you haven't seen our cat show, Robbie does it called From the Cat Box tomorrow. So she's got a real special guest tomorrow and From the Cat Box that you'll be able to see on our sister page, Crimeless Cat.
Ooh.
Yep. Or right here at Positively Woof. So once again, thanks so much. And
Thank you.
take care, Christina.
Love
Bye,
you.
y'all.
Love you.